Hello and welcome to the Kimbley IT podcast. I'm James Kimbley, the founder of Kimbley IT, and I'm joined again by the underboss, Carl Heath.
See. Hello.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good.
That's good. Well, let's go on to our recap straight away. Let's go straight for it. So last week I went sea fishing, my annual sea fishing trip. Unfortunately, this time around I didn't bring any business back as I did the previous year.
Or fish.
I did bring some fish back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you get?
We got some mackerel and some. I forgot what the other one's called.
Okay.
I get it every year, but my memory's gone blank.
I didn't know you did that. Didn't see it in your videos. That's good.
Yeah, we bring fish back all the time. You just seen on the video us gutting some fish.
I did.
So you gut them to bring them back.
Okay.
Get rid of the guts, feed the guts to the seagulls as we're coming back in. That's why the boats gets chased by seagulls, fishing boats when they come back in, because you normally gut the fish on the boat because it's messy, dirty, and smelly, and you don't want the guts at all. So you just throw them back out into sea, and the seagulls go down and dive and pick them up.
I see. It reminds me of the old Eric Cantona quote.
It's a circle of life for a fish.
Yes. You've got no idea what I'm referencing with Eric Cantona, do you?
The circle of life.
No. Is
he didn't say that one then?
No, he didn't say that one. He said when the seagulls follow the trawler, they expect sardine. They expect rubbish to be thrown to them, and he was referencing journalists.
Okay.
But yes,
I don't follow football. So
well, it was a long time ago, James. That it was like 90s.
Yeah, I remember Eric Cantona from the 90s.
So yes, you did a bit of sea fishing, and it looks like you got decent weather as well.
Yeah, it was a good day. So I enjoyed it. And then I had a birthday party that I had to go for my daughter's birthday party. And I found out the birthday parties actually are a great place to do some business networking.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people standing around who don't know each other. And they're there for the 2 hours because it's a young child's birthday party. And really, they just want to go. So they're more than willing to have someone come up to them and start chatting to them. I was chatting to a dentist guy. That wasn't going to go anywhere. I did it pretty quick. You could tell pretty much straight away when you got somebody who's going to go somewhere or not. But yeah, it was just the concept that actually you can network quite easily at birthday parties, and people are more than willing to chat because they're bored out their brains, and they're standing around waiting for their little kids to finish off doing their whatever they're doing, pass the parcel or something like that. So they're happy to chat.
Where was the party at?
Just at a house.
Oh, okay, right. Wasn't a soft play job.
Yeah, but even a soft play job's perfectly fine because the parents aren't on the soft play. They're just waiting around for their kids to come off.
You've clearly not been soft play with me then.
Oh, if you want to go on it, you can go on it, but normal people.
Dixie always drags me in.
Oh, that's your problem. You've allowed her to learn that, and therefore she drags you in. But for normal people, that doesn't happen.
I don't mind doing it. It's fun.
So, just a useful opportunity to do business.
Radio, I see. Okay.
And then you were doing something with insurance last week.
I was indeed. The world's exciting topic of insurance and mortgages, but at the same time, I thought I would rework my life insurance, and I need to redo my mortgage. So I met up with somebody for a coffee to do my life insurance in Moseley at the Damascena coffee place by the Moseley Exchange, where our office is. Very nice coffee there. Nice little place that is. And I also sorted my mortgage out by, and this is the thing about it, I just went on to Santander, who I've got my mortgage with, and they give you a web page where they give you the best deals, and you do it all in an hour online. And the best deal Santander could offer me was as good as the one from using any of the comparison sites. So things have changed. You can get a good deal as an existing customer these days, which was pretty refreshing and nice to find.
I'll just point something out to you as well. I think I might have pointed this out to you before in earlier episodes of our podcast, but generally your microphone works better when you're talking into it than looking the opposite way.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. So if you keep that in front of you, that big black disc, so your mouth is going towards that, you're going to sound a lot better.
Thanks for that.
That's okay. It's okay. Just need a reminder every so often. You're great with command line, not too good with microphones.
Yep, that's about right. I can go on my grave.
Great with command line.
Not so good with microphones.
You pressed Alt F4, died.
What does Alt F4 do?
Closes all your windows, doesn't it?
Ah, right. Okay, I didn't know that.
No, it's not quite command line. That's why.
No.
Probably have to type in something like sudo / close my windows.
Sounds like Linux to me. We know sudo in Windows.
Yeah, but you can run that in Windows now.
Well, you can now, yes.
Yeah.
But not in the era I was.
Didn't you see the link I sent? The new Microsoft PowerShell app that you can do. You can do. What's the other one called? Whatever. You can do all the command line stuff now inside one app. It's tabbed like a browser as well, so you can have multiple windows open. I thought you'd love that. You never replied back.
No, you're right. I didn't, did I? I forgot to have a look at that.
Maybe you'd collapsed because it excited you too much.
No, I'd forgot to look at it. Sorry.
I thought you'd be all over that.
No, well.
You've got nothing to run it on anymore, but in your old job.
Yeah, exactly. I've got nothing to do with my command line. I can run it and just sit there with it blinking at me and I've got nothing to say.
Yeah, it's probably more depressing for you than anything else, that is.
Yeah, makes me.
It'd have made your life a lot easier the last 20 years if you'd had that app.
Probably would have.
It's always the way. As soon as you leave something, the app that you really wanted comes out.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's it. Well, that was then.
So this week, tonight, we're meeting up at the Vine in West Bromwich.
That's right.
To have some food with some other IT business owners that we know.
If anyone arrives, we'll see.
Well, I think there'll be some people there.
Somebody deleted the Facebook group before they knew who was going, so we'll just have to hope.
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but
no idea.
We've got no idea who's going, so we're turning up anyway and seeing who else comes along.
Good Indian barbecue. I might have a curry tonight at the Vine. I might have a curry.
And then earlier this week, we had some G Suite training take place.
Yes.
Down in...
Well, we didn't.
The Kentish area.
We didn't personally have any G Suite.
No, that's what one of our clients did.
That's right, yeah.
Had our G Suite training take place. It was a very, one-to-one session. Really went well. They learned a lot, and that's the start of the week. And then we've got this other thing called updating guides, which I've probably mentioned about 3 or 4 times so far this week. It's got this we have these guides that tell people how to install software on their computers.
Yeah.
So they can walk it through. It's really easy. It has like screenshots on it and stuff like that. And there's this one about the Mac one that needs updating, and someone in the business keeps forgetting to update it.
I don't know if they've forgotten.
Oh, they're just ignoring them. See, they've forgotten to ignore it.
I've been busy setting up the next thing in the list.
Yes, like your studio. Tell them about your home studio that you built.
I was busy networking. I was busy out.
Yeah, but for at least 5 hours of the day, you were busy setting up your home studio.
I was busy setting up my home studio at that
for
point.
Your YouTube videos, exactly.
Yeah, that's important. It needs to get done. I've got 3 of these softbox things, and they were quite a faff to get set up all this lighting business for stuff. And I set it all up, and it works nicely. And now I've discovered I've got the wrong camera.
What do you mean the wrong camera?
Well, the GoPro's not great for this kind of setup. It's too far because its GoPro's is a fisheye lens. Even in its narrowest mode, it still puts you as too far away.
Yeah, it will do. GoPros are okay, but they're not great for talking to camera videos.
No, I've discovered that
because of the fisheye. They're just there for action shots.
Yeah,
so they can pick up a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, so I've got to work out now what I'm going to do. Probably get a camera, I think.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah,
makes sense. Just get what I've got. Get the DJI. What DJI?
I was going to ask James, is that tripodable?
You'd have to put a clamp on it, and then stick it on like one of those spider tripods. But yeah,
okay.
And it probably would actually stand on a table.
Yeah,
you could put it somewhere and it would stand. And because it's 4K, it doesn't matter what it picks in. Because when you actually go to edit the video, you then can zoom in quite a lot because it's 4K and you won't lose much quality.
Yeah, that's a good
crop it that way.
That's what I was thinking about. That's a good point because then you can zoom in for certain aspects. But exactly. The GoPro's not going to work. It works in the field, but it's not going to work here at home for what I want to do. So I'm going to have to get a camera. So I'm going to ask the advice of some people who know cameras for that.
We got anything else coming up this week?
After tonight, I don't think we really have actually got too much coming up for the rest of this week. No, I'm just installing some laptops tomorrow at a client. Not too much other stuff. And Friday, I try and leave free in the day so I can do stuff, your marketing and your videos and LinkedIn stuff.
So we haven't really got a focus section this week in that we couldn't think of anything. So I've come up with something.
We've lost focus.
Let's tell the people, our listeners.
Yep.
I think there's 14 now.
14
listeners.
Oh, yes.
Tell them a bit about yourself. What do you do when you're not doing Kimbley IT? What hobbies do you have? What things do you like doing? I know you used to collect classic Mercedes, but you gave up on that when it got too expensive.
I did. It did get too expensive, James. You're absolutely right. Classic cars got too expensive. I enjoyed doing the nuts and bolts bits with the spanners. I had an old enough car that you could actually do the work yourself, but I had to give the garage up.
Did you actually maintain them? I thought you always took them elsewhere to get them maintained.
The one that I drove, I did. But I still have the original old car from 1984. I've still got that under a cover. Now it was in this garage, you see, in the dry, and I was learning how to restore it, take it apart, service certain parts of it, because it's a very simplistic vehicle from the 80s. But I've lost my garage now because it was a storeroom and now is the office/studio.
So you're not sold that gold car yet?
No, I can't sell it. Nobody wants it.
Oh, is that so? It has no value at all. It is essentially valueless.
Kind of. It is kind of, but it's a funny thing with their old car. You're right. At the moment, it's not worth anything because no one wants to buy it. But you never know. It could be at some point. And when Kimbley IT is all successful and whatnot, and I can afford to get the lovely people at Charade to restore it for me, that might just happen.
Have you tried selling it and just no one's interested, or people have come around and decided they don't want it?
In the actual owners club that I'm in, nobody's really interested. And you know what's made that difficult? In the last couple of years, the availability of parts for old Mercedes has really, really dried up, and it's made the whole thing kind of a bit too expensive for most people. It's taken it out of the hobbyist and put it into the realms of the full restorer, i.e., like I said, like the client we've got that would restore nut and bolt to factory standard, which is fine if you've got 40 grand to throw at a car or whatever it might cost. I suppose it might cost that much. You can get the parts then, but for most people it's unaffordable. So now they're not interested. It's a real shame, but I guess that's progress. I don't know.
What else do you do then?
Industry is a bit dead though.
So what do you do now? You're not in the classic cars?
I don't do anything, but I've been thinking about this, James. I don't have a hobby, and that was concerning me slightly.
You kind of have a hobby. You love Top of the Pops too.
I do.
On Instagram. That's your hobby.
I do love Top of the Pops too. I love Top of the Pops on BBC 4 at 7:30. We're up to 1988 at the moment. Love it.
What are they doing? Are they just repeating every single week?
Every single week, repeated every day that it's on.
Until they stopped producing it.
I can't remember when Top of the Pops stopped. I'll have no interest after about 1994. To be honest, after that, I'm not interested.
So they started it from like the 1970s and they've got to 1984 now.
I think it started mid 70s or something like that.
So they're doing the top 10 every single week, just as it was back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Tapau's been at number 1 for the last 3 days with China in your hand.
I quite like that song.
Yeah, I quite like watching this. Late 80s bit's great. I've seen all the house music and hip hop music that was breaking through when I was 14. Quality stuff.
So it's half an hour, 7:30 to 8.
It is on BBC 4, yeah.
Every day or just once a week?
I don't know. I think it's only 3 times a week or something. It's not on every day.
It have to be if they're repeating the charts, and it's once a week, I think, isn't it? They showed it once a week.
No, they're doing it more than once a week.
So they're not doing it in real time then?
No, they're not doing it in real time. No, it take years.
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what they were doing because, like, you've got the Twitter accounts that redo World War II as it happened and things like that. So over 5 years,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's World War II accounts over there out there that over the 5 years they'll tweet out the news as it was breaking each day during the 5 years of the war.
Interesting.
So you can follow it in real time. I think it's already they started that. That Twitter account started at one of the anniversaries of World War II, and I think they're going through it for the second time now.
That's a bit like Channel 4 showing Frasier then.
So yes, that's why I thought maybe they were doing that with Top of the Pops too.
I don't know. The BBC 4 don't reveal their strategy, but I do watch it.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought you'd probably be able to work it out just by how regularly they're putting it on relay, to be fair.
I haven't given it that much thought.
Maybe you will now. Maybe
I might do. I might go look at the schedules now.
I've delved you deeper into a hobby now, which could be TV scheduling.
Watching Top of the Pops is still not a hobby.
TV scheduling, though. Analysing the TV schedules.
No, I'm going to buy a skateboard again.
Really?
Yep.
Lucky you got that insurance.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to get myself a skateboard again. One of my friends still skates, and he said his kids. So I'm going to take Dixie, see what she thinks, and get myself out of my board and have a bit of a go again. So I miss it. So that's it. And I'm going to take Dixie rock climbing soon. I don't think that'll become a hobby for me, though. But once I used to do
rock climbing for a bit, maybe like 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Got a bit boring, to be fair.
Okay.
So I gave up after that. So I did for about 2 or 3 years rock climbing, and that was it.
Are you good at it?
Pardon?
Are you good?
It's not reasonable.
Right, okay. Never done it.
Nothing professional like that. I was just a reasonable amateur.
Okay.
But yeah, I never was that keen on putting all my faith into tiny carabiners to carry all your weight. They're the little metal hooks that hook your rope in, and you do the figure of 8. knots and all those kind of stuff.
You did real rock climbing up rock faces.
I did a bit of that.
Okay. I thought I was
the vast majority was indoors.
There's
There's a good indoor rock climbing place in Moseley.
Oh, is there? Okay.
I did a lot of it in there, but I did a bit of outdoor stuff as well, just like in the down in the Lake District and stuff like that in Cornwall, I think.
And how is that? Is it even harder on a rock?
It's actually a bit easier, I find, because there's a lot more nooks and crannies to grab onto than on an artificial wall where you've got pieces that have been placed strategically around the place.
Yeah. Did you watch recently the Free Solo documentary?
No, I've got no idea what that is.
It was a film on Channel 4, a couple of years old, about a guy who climbed El Capitan in Yosemite in California.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah, and he did. They're the best ones that do it with no rope.
Yeah. Well, there's one part. It breaks it down into sections of the whole climb, and it's like section 16. And there's one part where you have to hook 2 thumbs in, and opposite way around to each other, and then you have to sort of flick round and catch yourself with your 2 thumbs again. And it's like the most dangerous part of the whole climb. Man, that you should see the nerve-wracking moment they film it, James, and all his friends can't watch from the ground with the zoom lenses, because this is the do or die moment. If he gets past this moment, the rest of it's quite an easy climb after that for a professional climber, so he'll be fine. It's even nerve-wracking knowing that I didn't know the ending, but I kind of guessed he wasn't going to die, and he doesn't. But it's gnarly to say the least. He's so high up.
Yeah, it's like the videos on YouTube where you got like the mad Russians who are climbing cranes and stuff like that. Yeah, hanging off the end of them.
Oh, that's nuts! The people who do backflips on the top of a RSK up. Yeah.
There are videos online of people getting it wrong. So if you want to watch it, get it wrong.
You know what? I don't like that kind of stuff, to be honest. I'm not a fan of that kind of gory stuff.
I've not watched that. I know they exist because my friend kept sending me them for a while. I never hit the play button because I didn't really want to watch them.
Yeah, people would send me video clips and you don't want to watch it.
It puts me onto it's like tightrope walkers.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone gets excited about a tightrope walker who's walking a tightrope with a safety rope on.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
There's nothing there. You're not going to die. I could have a go at that. There's a safety rope there. I could have a go at that. I probably won't make it, but I'm not bringing any risk into it at all. And then you get these people, you often see it on Facebook and people posting it. Isn't this amazing? Well, no, not really. He's got a safety rope. The amazing ones are the ones that haven't got any safety rope, who are really putting their life on the line.
The amazing Fandellas or something. There were some people in the 70s. Again, it's one of those YouTube videos. There's an old granddad.
You got the, what is it? Man on rope across the Twin Towers. That's a great film.
Yes.
So that was all done, not official, all done, sneaked in during the night time, got the rope out and then went across it during the day.
Podcast.
So yeah, we're just getting interrupted there.
But it's okay. Solved.
But yeah, it's man on rope, isn't it? Man
I think I haven't seen that name rings a bell.
Yeah, it's a really good film, that is.
Have you ever seen clips, James, while we're on this ridiculous subject, we might as well stick with it, of high divers, really, really high divers? You know the classic image of a man jumping off a high dive into a very small pool?
Yeah.
Well, if you go on YouTube, there's some guy who did it in the 70s, and he used to go up like what looks like a radio mast aerial of height, like 1,000 feet, and then he'll dive off into a pool in front of a crowd of beer-swilling Americans. And it's insane the height this dude jumps off. So gnarly.
You got the other ones as well who do free diving.
Is that off the coast into the sea?
No. Well, it might be. What I thought free diving was where you're on a pulley system and you go very deep into the water without any oxygen and stuff like that, and then you swim back up.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Lots of people have died doing that as well, because you get the bends and you've got to control your how quickly you rise up.
That's pearl divers and all that kind of business, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think pearl divers don't necessarily have as much of a problem because they've been doing it for such a long time that their bodies have adapted.
Oh, okay.
So the bends doesn't affect them as much. While a free diver, whatever they're called, a speed diver, free diver, is much more vulnerable to it. They're going a lot deeper as well than a pearl diver. A pearl diver is not going anywhere near as deep as a free diver is.
All crazy stuff. In that Free Solo documentary, they put the guy in an MRI machine and showed him images to see what his brain did when he saw certain images. He basically had no fear. They said to him, basically, you don't have any fear. It doesn't really work in your brain properly.
That's good. It made himself famous because of that. It's a good default to have.
Well, it explained why people like him can do what they do. The doctor basically said you wouldn't be able to do this if you were normal. You're not normal, which is why you have that. Plus, your skill at climbing enables you to do this.
Yep.
And you could be a great climber, but have a normal brain, and so you'll never free solo like you. And it was really interesting.
There's some hobbies for you if skateboarding doesn't work.
No, it's unlikely that anything else is going to happen if skateboarding doesn't work. Depends how my knees go, that's all. And whether I've got the muscle memory to remember how to do it. And
how your back goes when you fall off.
Yeah, it's not usually your back you hurt, to be honest, James. Knees, ankles, elbows tend to be the ones that catch it in skateboarding.
Yeah, but that's when you're young and you can catch yourself and stop yourself from smacking on your back.
I know. Well, we'll wait and see, eh?
You gonna wear a helmet?
I think I probably will. Yeah.
Should do.
I've got kids, so yeah. Got to save myself from death. I've worn a helmet snowboarding, and I've seen people who haven't, and I've seen them come down the mountain then on the stretcher.
You're going to be taking your old ghetto blaster out and some Green Day tapes to last out.
Green Day tapes. Nearly Green Day. I suppose Green Day were early 90s. That's not too inappropriate for you to name that. Not bad for you, that.
I hated all that music. I've never listened to it. I just know the band Green Day.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, you'll be glad to know then I quite like all that kind of punky stuff just to annoy you. Do you know what today is while we're here?
Yeah, Wednesday.
No. It's 10 years since Michael Jackson died.
I think that was yesterday, wasn't it?
I think it's today, isn't it?
All
over Twitter anyway.
Possibly.
Yeah, because it was at Glastonbury. Glastonbury starts today, and it was at Glastonbury in the 2009 when people started wearing Michael Jackson is dead t-shirts.
I didn't realise Michael Jackson was Glastonbury was on the same day each year.
Yeah, that must have come round by. Yeah, I think it is always the same time.
It can't be the same day because you have it on a Tuesday, and it's normally over a weekend, isn't it, Glastonbury? So it has to be on different days.
Glastonbury actually opens today on a Wednesday, but the music doesn't start till Friday.
Why the hell would you go on a Wednesday then?
Go all the hippie fields and stuff.
I don't really understand why you go to Glastonbury in the first place.
Enjoy music, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that on the TV without having to be around a load of people that I don't know or want to know.
I got to know some of them when I used to go to festivals, talk to them.
Well, you can talk to them, but are they still friends now?
Oh, no.
Exactly.
No, but you're not under any apprehension that they will be. Well, at least I wasn't.
A lot of energy being spent to chat to somebody you're not going to talk to again in the future.
Oh, who cares? I was drunk. It didn't matter.
You probably weren't just drunk either.
No, you're probably right. I probably wasn't. And I certainly knew if I wasn't just drunk, I wasn't going to see the people again. But you understand that. But I don't want to go to a festival now either. I rather watch Glastonbury from my sofa. So I agree.
I'd never go to a festival.
Well, I can't see it suiting you somehow.
I had a friend who went to that Download Festival about 2 weeks ago.
That'll be noisy.
Oh, music's appalling.
You only like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, the greatest.
Then you only like a sub-genre of Michael Jackson, a subsection of his work.
No, I don't like his dead early stuff, but I like all his other stuff.
Not Rockin' Robin for you. No Rockin' Robin.
No. I don't like the stuff. I don't really like the stuff when he was solo artist under Motown. Once he left Motown and was free to do his own thing, that was great.
Off the Wall.
Off the Wall is Motown.
I like Off the Wall. It's good.
I'm not that keen on Off the Wall.
Can't stop till I get enough. Oh,
there's definitely a few good songs on there, but there's a load that aren't anything special.
All right, okay.
Nothing like the Dangerous album, which is just every single song is world class.
What about Thriller? That was the one that won by a royal mile in sales.
Yeah, but Thriller is only big because of essentially 2 or 3 songs on there.
Which, of course,
it's got Thriller and Billie Jean on it, which are the biggest 2.
Of course, he didn't write Thriller.
And
Rod Pemberton did. He's British, you know.
No. Thriller is partly written by Michael Jackson as well, because actually, no, Thriller is written by Michael Jackson. Rod Pemberton is the producer, because Thriller is. Yeah, there's a demo called Starlight, which is what Thriller originally was.
Right.
And it moved into Thriller, and Starlight was originally written by Michael Jackson.
Okay. Right. So I see. So Michael Jackson wrote the Starlight song that was then adapted into Thriller.
Yep.
Right. I see. So I get you. So you might see a credit to Rod Pemberton for Thriller, but you're saying Michael Jackson actually may have wrote the harmonies or the bass or whatever.
Yeah, and yeah.
Okay. Do you like anybody else? Anything else? Dead air, folks.
There's other songs I like, but there's no
No, I
one.
didn't mean songs. We all like individual songs.
There's no one artist that I like all their music apart from Michael Jackson. I like all his music, but there's not another artist like that.
What do you have another artist you like a lot of it, more than 50% of their music?
Just scrolling through.
No. Interesting. That is interesting because that's quite rare, James, that most people have a couple of things they like a lot of, and you just have the one. No.
Yeah, it's pretty much just Michael Jackson. Just scrolling through my favorites on Google Play Music, and
Can't really big that list.
The vast majority are nearly all Michael Jackson. I can't scroll for more than a few screens.
You know what I blame for this?
Michael Jackson appearing.
I blame your privately funded education. You were too busy with extracurricular activities and flying aircraft and all these other things that you did. Whereas I was at comprehensive school where they booted you out at 3:15 and you had sod all else to do but listen to music.
Yeah, well, I did.
And skateboard, as it happened, actually.
I did become fan of the fan of what the majority of people in the world liked.
What?
Michael Jackson.
Well, nothing wrong with that. I like a bit of Michael Jackson too. As I've told you, I've no issue with his music. I like quite a lot.
Exactly. I'm just saying I didn't go after some weird, strange band that hardly no one's ever heard of.
Well, it depends who you are. I mean, I didn't go after U2 and Deacon Blue in the '88. I liked Public Enemy and KRS-One. That was hip hop.
Yeah, well, I know what hip hop is. I quite like it. I quite like hip hop.
I'm not trying to be that patronising that I don't think you know what hip hop is, James.
No, I quite like hip hop. If you saw my music list down here, there's quite a lot of stuff on there.
This is interesting stuff. This is what James does to you. James does this. He doesn't reveal anything about himself unless you ask him the question, and then he reveals it. Now he tells me like hip hop. I had no idea. None at all. Particular artists you liked? Anything in your list?
I quite like Warren G.
Warren G. How about that? Regulate. Come on.
Yeah, I actually like Prince Igor by Warren G. That's my favourite one that he's done.
Oh, okay, all right. Yep, so that's mid-90s. This makes sense. This was
I even know the lyrics to that one. So when it comes on when I'm doing my exercise, I can sing along to that song.
Well, there you go. He really likes the song because if you know the lyrics, and I know the lyrics to when Public Enemy tracks come on from '87, you can just go along with the words by yourself because you listen to it that many times. You learned them. He liked it. Interesting, James. I like
Nas. Praz, I mean, even
Praz. This all makes sense. This is mid to late 1990s hip hop, which was
the reason I liked it was because on the school bus we had a guy who's a guy called Soweto something or other. He's quite a famous jazz player now, but he used to love hardcore hip hop stuff, and he'd demand. He was in the years above us, and he was a big guy, so he always won. He'd demand to have hip hop blasted out on the bus on the way to and from school, and he'd have everything on there: Snoop Dogg, Cypress Hill, absolutely everything on there, and like proper hardcore hip hop stuff, not mainstream things at all. So that's probably why I kind of started liking that type of music.
There you go. There's no boom boom shake the room here for James. We're straight in with Cypress Hill and Pigs. Phenomenal stuff. Beastie Boys?
No, I never liked them.
Oh, I love the Beastie Boys.
I like it. I do like Eminem, or how he pronounces his name. Eminem. Yeah.
I didn't like things when it like Jay-Z and stuff, that era. I didn't really like that kind of much. Some Busta Rhymes and things like that.
I've never really gone to Jay-Z. I like Busta Rhymes. He's got some good songs.
Busta Rhymes is good.
Yeah.
It's just mad styles and mad fisheye lens use.
Yeah, I like songs where
James, the other day you posted a G Suite clip and it uses a Busta Rhymes song in the background, and I couldn't for the love of me find which one it is.
I did find it actually, and I can't remember what it's called.
I know I can't remember either.
I'll be able to find it again for you.
Yeah, because it's in that G Suite clip, and I thought that's a banging use of that tune.
They've massively edited that tune because literally that song is fuck every few seconds. So they've really cut that and put a good loop on it to get that bit out.
I had the same problem when trying to find said Busta Rhymes song on my phone, and my daughter was sat next to me, and my phone was on loud, and I didn't realise, and Busta Rhymes just kicks it, and I'm just like, and you can't turn it off fast enough, then can you? I pressed the wrong button. I made it louder. I couldn't turn my phone off. Luckily, I don't think Dixie heard it. She's not repeated it anyway, so I've got away with it. I can't introduce her to Busta Rhymes because it just all be bleeped. I have to get ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
There we go. See, this is the quality of a podcast now. When people say, "Oh, why do you do a podcast?" Now I can say the reason I do it is because now I know me and James can enjoy some hip hop occasionally.
I also like Coolio.
Oh yeah, Coolio was all right. He was
Yeah.
all right. Yeah.
I wasn't that keen on Gangster's Paradise. It got overplayed.
It was a popular tune.
The one that I really liked actually was "See You When You Get There," and that's the one that's using a bit of
Oh yes.
what's it called? Paco Bell Canon sampling in the background, which is classical music.
Okay, I remember seeing you when you get there. What about Dr. Dre and stuff?
I never really liked him.
Never really got into Dr. Dre and stuff. I was all mostly Public Enemy was the biggest thing that I liked.
I did like I liked a bit of when he was called Puff Daddy back in the 90s.
P. Diddley. This is going to be an interesting focus now for a technical, tech type podcast. Well, focus dangerous sports and hip hop.
Wycliffe Jean. I like Wycliffe Jean.
Yeah, I wasn't so much on that. All that November business and things didn't go for me.
And again, with a lot of these, it's not their whole back catalogue I like. There's a handful of songs that I like from each of them.
I agree with that one. Mostly I like a handful of songs from those people you've named. It's only things like Beastie Boys that I loved everything they did. But unfortunately,
there's no other artist that I love everything they did.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard. There's always some bad work in there. You know what? That when you talked the other day about Kurt Cobain and Nirvana not doing much as a back catalogue, that's one of the reasons they were quite good, because they died before they could produce any rubbish.
Okay.
Loads of people who, the 27 Club, loads of people died at 27 because it meant they didn't produce any crap. Because let's be honest, if Jimi Hendrix had lasted, he would have done the Frog Chorus. He'd have done his equivalent of the Frog Chorus like Paul McCartney did. So, and Kurt Cobain would have done some bollocks. But the
interesting thing with Michael Jackson is,
yes,
he did a lot of good stuff that he didn't release while he was alive.
Right.
So
okay.
You've got the Invincible album, which is definitely the weakest album out of the lot. That's basically the last album he released while he was alive, back in about 2001.
Yep.
And then a couple of years after he died, they released the Escape album.
Yes.
And these are songs that he's recorded. They've been in the vault, and they were never released. And they're songs that missed out getting on the Dangerous album, missed out getting on the Invincible album. And actually, these songs are far superior than anything that was on the Invincible album. It's like,
okay,
what drugs were you taking at the time, Michael, when you decided to put the Invincible album? And you could put these songs on, you'd have had at least 3 or 4 number ones. Well, Invincible had 1 number 1 song, You Rock My World. You put Escape out while he was alive, you'd have had 4 number 1s off that without no problem whatsoever.
Interesting. He was probably on some sort of strong opiates, to be honest.
Yeah, most likely.
Although I did see what happened to his hair when it burnt with the Pepsi commercial, and it was not good. I mean, that's no joke what happened to his head.
Yeah, but it's just it's kind of mad that actually his second best album of all time is Escape, which came a few years after he's died, and because there's no, they did promote it and put songs out of it, and it's actually the one they did the video of him performing "Slave to Rhythm" at the music awards, some MTV something music awards or something like that.
Yeah,
and they did it as a hologram.
Yes, I remember that.
There was a lot of promotion on it, but of course, if the person's not actually alive, you're never going to get full promotion. But yeah, that album was great.
You mentioned they pulled these from the archives.
Yep.
Just as well he wasn't on Universal record label, isn't it, really? Do you see the news today about
that? They got ransomware or something?
No. 10 years ago, Universal Studios, California, they had a fire. They said it was the King Kong ride, and that one of their archives had been partially damaged, where they store all the master copies of many albums for their artists. Well, It's been revealed now, 11 years later, that they lost tens of thousands of original master copies of most of their artists. Sheryl Crow, Bryan Adams, loads of stuff from the 50s and 60s.
Sheryl Crow was discovered by Michael Jackson.
There you go. How about that for a segue?
Yeah, if you look at The Way You Make Me Feel on the live tours, it was done as a duet.
Yeah,
and the original ones, the original first tours were with Sheryl Crow. Until she became too famous.
You Make Me Feel, the video with the woman who's got very masculine shoulders. Is it Michael Jackson walking through a street?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
She's got very masculine shoulders, that woman.
Is she?
Look at the video. She's really slim in a mini dress, but she's got shoulders like an American football player.
Yeah, but that's because in the 80s, everyone wore padded shoulders.
These aren't pads. That's her physique.
I don't know. Oh, well.
But yes, Universal Studios are now up for criminal prosecution because they've lied. They told the artists they'd lost the stuff or they couldn't find it, or that it was all safe, and it's all lies. And they've destroyed thousands and thousands of master copies of records.
11 years ago, you could digitize that quite easily.
Well,
that was the height of Napster. No excuse not to put it onto a computer.
No, it wasn't the height of Napster. The height of Napster was 10 years before that, wasn't it?
No,
Napster was its height in 2000.
Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, that's right.
It's really old Napster when you roll back to
it.
Well,
then there's even more reason for them to have it on a computer if Napster's another 10 years before that. Yeah, you're right about Napster. Yeah. I remember using it about 1999.
Yeah, everybody was into the download.
Yep.
Morpheus, Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, all that gubbins.
LimeWire was good. LimeWire was the replacement after Napster. Kazaa was bloody awful because that would just absolutely kill your computer with spyware and absolutely everything.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it did, didn't it? It was full of junk.
Yeah, I never used Kazaa. I did Napster, and then when that died, LimeWire, and then after LimeWire got shut down, that was pretty much the end of it for me.
Yeah, me too. I just thought it was easier to stream and buy, easier to buy stuff, and then when Spotify and stuff came out, just don't worry about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a better world.
Let's move on to the news section then now.
All right.
So I saw this thing. So Google wants to build a digital city.
Yep.
Read about this before.
Yep.
In Toronto, I think it is. Yeah, Toronto, Canada.
Yep.
Based around the internet. So the internet is the underlying utility, essentially, and build it from the internet up. So again, that's going to be all about smart buildings, building everything so it's interconnected. So you've got what was it? Let me just read the article quickly. But the local residents of Toronto aren't happy about it. They think it's going to be too much privacy invasion, which they might have a fair point when it comes down to that kind of stuff. But you know, they want to build this is on wasteland. They want to build it on wasteland, and it's how many acres is it? Just saw that as I was scanning past. A 12 acre site, but they want to go bigger than that and build a whole block of the ideal future they see as a city. How it would operate.
Yeah, I read about that.
A lot of things like bicycle paths that warm up. So they're heated bicycle paths. So you know if it's
the snow and ice.
Yeah, snow and ice. Yeah, get rid of that kind of stuff easily. Interconnection, adaptive traffic lights, dynamic mobility, robots in the factories, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it seems like it's probably going to get blocked by the city of Toronto now.
Well, Google are hardly doing themselves any favors at the moment, are they? Because they've been having this whole affecting the election thing that's going on with Google Gate on Twitter that I've been reading about, where they were secret filming a few members of Google who said they were gearing the search towards blocking alt-right and other types of things like that.
I saw that yesterday, and I didn't. I might go and watch it, but I didn't bother following it in because the people who are promoting it are the InfoWars type people.
I know, yeah. The ones I saw it on were conspiracy theorist ones.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't be sure how much of that footage is actually real or being faked and stuff like that because it's InfoWars.
I don't disagree with you.
So the next bit of news was about a robot that crawls along turbine blades looking for invisible flaws. So, you know, you got wind turbines everywhere, Carl.
Yeah. They're big things. Yeah,
the big things. Very difficult to service because they're normally in remote areas.
Yeah.
Hard to get to, and the blades are some of the biggest things that get manufactured in the world because they're one big piece. They're not like they're put together. You know, when you've probably seen them on massive trucks when they've been taken to sites. Yeah, it's one big piece. They can't be broken down, so they have to go on special trucks to get to the area. So what's happened here is a company has developed a robot that can essentially be put onto a wind turbine, and it will go along the blades, scanning them for faults.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, because of the expense and the remoteness of a wind turbine, a human can really only do a visual inspection.
Yes.
It can't see any further than the skin of the blade.
Yep.
So they've got a robot that they developed, and they're also developing a drone that can use heat to spot problems. So pardon?
They're looking for like metal fatigue and things.
Yeah, exactly. So that will stand out in heat if you do a heat scan of something. So they can fly drones across the top of around the wind turbines and spot by heat marks on the blades where there are issues that need to be looked into more detailed, and therefore they can then send a human, which is the expensive part, to actually go and do a further inspection or do a repair. So this is just a great example of where autonomous robots come in and save businesses lots of money and do things in a much more efficient way
than a human.
Than a human can do. So that's a TechCrunch article that is, and it's this robot crawls along wind turbine blades looking for invisible flaws.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Certainly wouldn't like to think of the idea of one of those shearing off, like having a massive structural failure.
Yeah, I think there's some videos of those on YouTube.
They get ice on them, don't they?
It's happened.
That can cause problems.
Pardon?
They get ice on them.
Yeah, I imagine the modern ones have probably got heated blades.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think I've seen ones where the ice gets on it and then they spin with the ice on, and the extra weight causes unevenness of movement.
There are problems with significant birds hitting them. That can be enough to damage a blade.
Wow. You wouldn't think that, would you?
The blades, I assume, are probably either light steel or aluminium, or even maybe carbon fiber in some cases. But I suspect they can't take great impacts. Carbon fiber is very strong, but it depends on where you hit it and how you hit it.
Yep.
If it's designed in that way to take an impact from that angle. And I imagine the blades will be hollow and they'll be very light. So I imagine they can get damaged quite easily from an impact.
Yep. Okay. Good stuff.
Especially if you maybe get like a swarm of a swarm. I don't know what it's called when you've got lots of birds flying together. Yeah, a flock of seagulls or something going into flying into an outshore wind turbine farm and getting hit.
I'm now picturing the 1982 pop band hitting a spinning fan now because you referenced flock of seagulls.
I don't know that one. It's probably not hip hop.
No, it's not hip hop. It's not. No.
So you've stuck one up here. So another US town has paid up for ransomware.
Yeah, you know I like to follow my ransomwares, and this is the city of Lake City in Florida. That is a small new municipality, and they got hit with a ransomware, and so they've paid up because it's pretty much brought them to a grinding halt. They can't pay any of their bills. They can't afford any of their taxpayers.
Only £394,000. That's a pretty decent deal they got there.
Yeah, it didn't cost them an absolute fortune, but it's the second town in Florida that's had that happen recently, that's had to pay up. And it's an thing that we're seeing.
Yeah, is it all left over from WannaCry and people that just didn't patch machines properly and they're having another go?
It tells James in these articles, you never get to find out the root cause of how this.
Not till a bit later on.
Yeah, certainly not now anyway.
The Register will have that news a couple of months later. Then Register will show it all.
Yeah, and then take the mickey out of everybody doing it. I noted today you've posted on LinkedIn as well about an interesting attack now on phishing where they're fishing for the CEO's salary, which
it's just important people. So, in the past, it's always been, can you make a payment? I need an urgent payment done. Instead, now they're sending an email, pretending they're from someone high up in the business to the accounts or finance team, saying, hey, I've got a new bank account. I've moved banks. Can you make it so my monthly wage payments go into this new bank account, please?
Yeah.
We'll see if it makes any difference if a CEO misses his wage or someone high up in the business misses their wage. Will
it make them change their mind about taking IT seriously? Yes.
Yeah.
I've also added in the news
from 9 to 5 Google. Great website.
Google. I have Android Auto in my Suzuki Swift car. I like it very much.
Is it updated?
Pardon?
They're rolling out an update. Has that appeared on your Suzuki Swift?
I don't know. I'll have a look today when I come over and meet you. I haven't seen it yet.
Or do you have to go in and pay Suzuki to do an update for you?
Well, I don't know. You see, that's why I guess. Yeah, I can't update the car, so I figure it probably is something like that.
Does it not have 4G, the car, built in?
No, I don't have an internet-connected car, so...
Yeah, I reckon Suzuki's going to try and screw you for a while here. Yeah, you can have that. It's £200 though to do the update.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out how that would work.
And you could tell them, well, you know what? I work with Google, so I'm just going to email Google and tell them that you're charging me for this. What are you going to do about that?
Wow, big threat, eh?
Yeah, well, it's free, Android Auto, so they shouldn't be charging for that.
No, they'll say it's for the service, James, of updating it.
Yeah, for someone to stick a little memory stick in there to update it.
Yeah.
Say, I'll do that myself. Don't worry, I'll do it. Just give me the stick.
I like the look of it. It looks nicer than the previous version. And having used both in my car, both an Apple phone and my Android phone, the Apple connectivity, the CarPlay is better. So I'm hoping that this Android Auto will improve and get on the same level.
Maybe it will update via your phone when you plug your phone in.
Well, I've read something that suggests that's what might happen as well. So I'll be interested to find out if it does or not.
Well, that's everything in the news this week.
It is. Indeed, it is.
We've got no rant. Everything's been going well.
Yeah, I don't have anything that I would be forcing a rant this week. I don't have anything particularly to go on about.
I've got one mini one.
Oh,
actually. BBC license fee.
Right.
I've recently ended my license fee because I've ended paying the BBC for a license fee because I don't watch anything on the BBC.
You own a television?
Yeah, I own a television.
This is the thing. Technically, that means you're supposed to have one.
No, it doesn't. You only pay a license if you're watching broadcast live or you're watching something on the BBC iPlayer. If you're watching BBC iPlayer or you're watching live TV, then you have to have a TV license.
Okay.
This is where my rant comes from.
All right.
Because I might want to watch something live on Sky. Why do I need to pay the BBC for me to watching something on Sky? I'm never going to watch anything on the BBC because I've got nothing I is interested on there that I'm going to watch live or watch on iPlayer. I watch Netflix and Amazon Prime. Netflix mainly. Hardly watch TV, as you know.
Yep.
But say, for example, I wanted to watch a football match that's on ITV commercial channel. For me to watch that live while it's being broadcast, I have to have a TV license. That's kind of like me having Virgin broadband, but because I'm using the internet, I have to go and pay Sky as well, even though they've got no involvement at all in that. The BBC has no involvement in ITV or what I'm watching on my TV, but because I'm watching a live broadcast, it doesn't matter what channel it's on, you then have to have a TV license.
Yeah. Do you TV license to listen to the radio?
No, because that's radio.
Okay. The TV license pays for the BBC.
You only have to have a TV license if you're watching something live as it's being broadcast,
right?
Or you're watching something on the BBC iPlayer. No other reason that you need a TV license.
Okay.
That's why the iPlayer asks you now if you want a TV, if you've got a TV license or not.
Okay.
But yeah, so essentially, if you're watching something on some independent channel, nothing to do with the BBC, and you're watching it, you happen to be watching it as it's being broadcast in real time, you're meant to have a TV license to fund the BBC.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Just absolute bonkers. It's like you driving your old Mercedes, but because you're driving your old Mercedes, because it's a car,
yeah,
you need to pay BMW some money as well.
Yeah, it's almost like a leftover nationalised industry in it, the BBC.
Makes no sense at all. But yeah, I got rid of my TV license because I don't watch anything on the BBC. But that's how I found out about it.
And because there's nothing inside those detector vans.
Detector vans don't even exist, really. There's only ever been like a couple of pictures of detector vans and they're just painted on the side.
The threat of the detector van.
I do have a question though. You know, there must be hundreds of people out there that don't have TV licenses but are watching BBC stuff, and especially if you're watching on your mobile phone when you're out and about.
Yeah, there must be loads.
You know, there's no way the BBC can look into that kind of stuff unless they have a sharing agreement with your broadband provider to tell them whenever you go to the BBC iPlayer website and hit the play button.
Yeah, don't know.
But it's just, it's completely and utterly nuts. It's such an outdated concept, and it's fair if you're watching BBC, you pay the BBC license fee. But if I want to watch live sport on ITV, on Sky, or whatever channel, or just live news on any other channel like Sky News, I legally have to have a TV license for that to fund the BBC.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. And if they switched to a subscription service and became like Amazon Prime, I think they're in fear of knowing that no one would pay. They wouldn't get enough money.
They would, though. They get loads of money. BBC has the best back catalogue of TV programs probably globally.
Yeah, but
one of the oldest TV channels in the world.
They sell those under license for use on other, like you can get BBC comedies on Netflix.
Well, they do that, but they also have a thing called BritBox now, which is the BBC ITV, I think Channel 4 as well, and it's their back catalogue. If you're in America, you can't get it if you're in the UK, but if you're in America and other countries, you can sign up for BritBox. It's just like Netflix. You pay a monthly fee and you have access to all the back catalogue stuff for the BBC, Channel 4, ITV, those things. They don't allow the UK people to have that. And that they would get a lot of people sign up for that, and they'd get a lot of funding from it as a commercial channel.
If they let us have that as well, yeah.
Yeah, and it would reduce the TV license, but they don't want to do that because then all of a sudden they've got to, they can't justify all the nonsense they put out.
Yeah, it's exclusively available in the Canada and the US.
Yeah, exactly. See, and that will go spread around.
Can you fiddle that via a VPN or a browser that pretends?
Oh, yeah, of course you could do it via VPN and stuff like that if you want to go through all the hassle of doing that.
Yeah.
But that's not really the point here. The point is that the BBC puts programs out that essentially should be on commercial channels, like what's that dancing one they have?
Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, Strictly Come Dancing. That isn't a BBC state-funded thing. That should be on a commercial channel. What the BBC should be doing is programs that wouldn't be a smash hit on a commercial channel. Yeah, so a bit like historic programs, wildlife programs, things like that.
You're suggesting there, James, it sounds like that you're almost saying the BBC should form part of the arts. It should be there because it's important to be there, not because it's popular.
I don't think it's important to be there, but that's how it. I wouldn't miss the BBC if it disappeared overnight. Wouldn't care less.
See, the ballet and opera, though, isn't it? The ballet and opera.
Yeah, but that's what they should be focusing on. They shouldn't be going head to head commercial channels on commercial properties.
They lost on the Bake Off, didn't they? Because they moved that one that sold Channel 4 for more money.
Whatever, but they shouldn't be doing stuff like that anyway. If they're getting funded, it should just be commercialized, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, there you go. A little bit rant about TV licensing.
Recommendations next.
Yes.
I'll let you go first because I haven't bought any in yet, so I need to see if I can find one.
My recommendation on Netflix, although I haven't watched it yet, will be a story.
It's always good to recommend things that you haven't watched and you don't know anything about.
I know it's going to be decent. It's a 4-parter called When They See Us, and it's about a famous crime in New York City in 1989 in which a female jogger was brutally attacked and raped in the park. 1989 was probably the height of danger in New York, the most dangerous part in its history in terms of violence and murders. It's a very famous case in which teenage boys were charged and convicted of the offence and then shown to be not guilty of the offence and acquitted later on. And it's the whole story of how that happened. And the female jogger was completely anonymous for many, many years before she revealed who she was. And she's now gone on to become a motivational speaker and author. And although I haven't seen it, I've read a lot about this story, and I reckon it will be very good because Netflix are good at this kind of thing.
Staying on Netflix, I recently watched a program called Killer Ratings.
Yeah. Okay.
Killer Ratings is also a true crime story. I remember reading about it, first noticing about a few years ago when it came up it was going through the news media. It was about a program in Brazil, the Amazonian region. It was a crime one, a bit like Crime Watch.
Okay.
But they would actually show the crimes in real time, and because of so much crime going on, if a murder had been reported, they'd have a camera crew on there filming the dead body, filming the police doing their things, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they started to get there before the police did, quite regularly.
Okay.
And there's a whole conspiracy, this program is, and it's the presenter became quite a powerful politician.
I think I know this story. Carry on.
Yeah. And someone inside the government, clearly they didn't like this because he was calling them out on being poor at solving crime and detecting it and preventing it. And it went along the lines that he was a gang leader and that he was essentially ordering murders to take place for his show. That's why his camera crews were there and they knew more details about it than anyone else did. But the interesting thing is, in this program, Killer Ratings, there's no conclusion to the program.
Right.
You can decide how you want it to go, how you want to think. It's like he died, and after he died, that was pretty much the story ended. Everyone lost interest in it.
Right. Okay.
And there doesn't seem to be any evidence either way. He possibly being head of a crime organization and was ordering these murders to get the ratings up on his TV program. So he always had the latest crimes and bodies and stuff to film. Or he was
it in Brazil?
Yeah. Or he was just badly discredited by people in the government who didn't like him, and they used this as a way to get him out of power.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Brazil. The whole program's in Portuguese, subtitles. It's an interesting program. If you can watch it with the subtitles, you'll enjoy it. Some people can't do that and don't like doing that stuff, but it's an interesting program. There is no English dubbing, so you do have to watch it in the subtitles on. Okay. It was interesting. The one that you just mentioned, I've got that in my queue as well because I knew about that crime for quite a while.
And I watched I watched the other night. I like the TV show on Netflix show Losers, and I watched another episode of Losers, and it's about the sporting one. It's about a French guy who threw away the British Open Golf Championship on the final hole with three shots up, and instead of playing the safe game, he went for it with his driver and threw the whole thing away. And it's a really good story of how he turned his life around and things like that. I like that show a lot, Losers. It's really good.
There's another one, a film, Amazon Prime, King of Thieves.
Right.
It's based on a true story of the Hatton Garden safe deposit robbery that happened a few years ago. It was like those 70-year-old thieves who just wanted to do one last payday.
Yeah, the ones who drilled their way through the vault underneath or something like that.
Yeah. They actually did a perfect crime. Absolutely perfect. Their problem was afterwards. The disagreements and things that went on in the gang trying to get rid of it. I say perfect crime, but they did make a bit of a mistake. One of the guys decided to drive to the crime in his own top of the range Mercedes, park out there and then drive around, and he hadn't disguised. So they were going to catch him quite quickly afterwards. But the actual crime, the way it took place, no one knew it was happening at the time.
Yes.
Up to that point, it was essentially a perfect crime. They were going to get caught just because they were old, and they were basically they sum them up as analog criminals working in the digital world.
Yeah, it makes you think old school criminals with drills and things like that in an era where you can't do that stuff anymore.
Well, they actually had to go back home during the drill process because they broke the hydraulic pump to the. So when they drilled through the wall, they knew that there were going to be lock boxes all along the wall, and they'd need to push one of these down so they could get into the actual vault.
Yeah.
And they broke their hydraulic pump during the process, so they had to leave in the night, go away for the day. Yeah. They went to Machine Mart in the Mercedes, bought another hydraulic pump, put it all in their name, and then drove back the other night. The main mastermind, the main ringleader, he didn't turn up for the second night.
Right.
So I guess he thought, okay, we're busted here, so I'm not going to turn up for it. The interesting part, there was a young guy in the team. When I say young, he was in his 50s, but he was an alarm expert, so he was able to deactivate the alarm for the team on the first night.
Yep.
He wasn't found for over 3 to 4 years after the original crew got caught.
Okay.
So he'd worn a disguise, and he'd never been, and he just got lucky, I guess, on the CCTV. It never picked up a clear image of who he was or what he was.
Yeah.
But that's old school thieves. They don't grass on each other. So 3 to 4 years, they know this guy's gone off with 14 million they stole. Only 4 million's ever been recovered.
Okay.
So he walked off with quite a significant amount.
Yeah.
But they didn't grass him in the whole time they were in prison. Never grassed him in.
Stitches get snitches, or snitches get stitches.
Yeah. So and one of the guys buried his loot in a graveyard.
Okay.
And he got properly screwed over by the police. Because he agreed, he did a deal with them that, I will show you where I've buried my loot if you release me early. So they agreed to release him early. What they didn't tell him is that they'd already found one of the places he buried his loot, and he took them to another graveyard which had a lot smaller amount in it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards it was revealed, okay, thanks for that. By the way, we've also found your really big one that you put in the grave over there. Yeah. So he was thinking, I'll give them a small amount and then leave it a few years, come back and collect the rest.
Yeah.
And he lost everything that he'd nicked.
Good stuff.
But yeah, there's still 10 million at least in jewelry missing.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that story. I'll have to watch one of those. I'll have to watch that, try and find an evening when I can get enough time to watch something of that length.
Yeah, so it's not a long film. It's about an hour and a half.
You know what my kids are like, James.
Watch it once I go to bed. Amazon Prime, that's on, by the way.
Oh, okay. I don't have Amazon Prime.
Okay, and then, great. Yeah, here we go. Final recommendation. Might as well turn off now, guys.
For all you parents out there and non-parents, if you want, Secret Life of Pets 2. I like Secret Life of Pets. My daughters do very much, so I took them to see Secret Life of Pets 2. I haven't seen the whole thing. I had to leave 20 minutes before the end because they got a bit scared because it gets a bit dark. And what surprised me was for a You film, actually, it gets a bit dark.
This is another film that you're recommending that you haven't fully watched.
I watched most of it, but I couldn't watch the end of it because
you've got no idea what happens at the end. Then
I don't actually. Still, no, I don't want to have to do that.
Exactly, it might be horrendous, and you're telling people not to send their kids.
I doubt it's horrendous. Films say they contain mild peril. Well, this contains peril. I've seen peril now compared to mild peril.
Oh well, I'm not going to watch that. I'm in no rush to watch that.
Well, you don't go to cinemas anyway, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, There you go. That's it. That's the end.
That's the end of the podcast for this week.
Yep. It's rapidly becoming a discussion of whatever we feel like talking about and very little about tech, but there you go.
Not really. It's only the first week that it's been about that. Next week will be about tech. We'll have to put effort in to find something to focus on.
Yep. Okay.
But thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, and tell all your friends about it.
Why not lose the review anyway? Why not? Might cheer me up.
Well, you can do, but we're never going to see. There might be reviews there. I don't check it. So,
Where could I
you?
check it? Oh, where to check it?
Pardon?
I don't even know where to check it.
Well, it'll be on the podcast app on your iPhone.
I don't have an iPhone.
Oh well, can't be checked then. But we hope you're leaving nice reviews anyway. We've got no way of checking them, so be nice.
Okay.
And keep in contact and follow us.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, get us on LinkedIn.
Yes, please.
I'll speak to you later next week. Even
Later. Bye.
Bye bye.